So I'm in my dorm room right now about to get started on this project, and I know I want to do something about the education of refugees in Turkey, but I haven't decided exactly what. So before I can begin this project, I know I need to start off with a lot of research. First, I went to the UNC Library's website to do some research on why there are so many refugees in Turkey to begin with. I found an article called Turkey's Refugees, Syrians, and Refugees from Turkey, a Country of Insecurity. This article detailed the influx of refugees and political asylum seekers in Turkey and across the world. According to author Ibrahim Serkaki, Turkey is categorized as a country of security due to its generous government and proximity to Greece. While these refugees have many different countries of origin, a majority of them are members of the Arab diaspora, primarily of Syrian descent. Over the last 8 years, Syria has been experiencing a series of violent conflicts within its borders, driving citizens to their neighbor towards the north, Turkey. Serkaki also discussed a population pyramid constructed by the Turkish General Directorate of Migration Management that displays the numbers of Syrian refugees settled in Turkey. I found that a disproportionate amount of these refugees are between the ages of 20 to 24. Instantly, I knew I wanted to cover higher education. I refined my search terms and came across an article titled An Evaluation of Refugees' Access to Higher Education, a Case of Turkey and Istanbul. The section titled Refugees' Access to Higher Education in Turkey gave me some important information. The Turkish Council of Higher Education reacted quickly to the rapid increase of refugee students and laid out the requirements refugee students must meet in order to gain entrance into a university. The council determined that refugees could transfer to a Turkish university if their education was interrupted for humanitarian reasons. They also stipulated that students who lacked documentation could still gain entry under special student status. In addition, Syrian refugee students may attend Turkish public universities tuition-free. So while all of my research was super helpful, I still don't feel like I have an accurate grasp on what higher education institutions look like in Turkey. So that's why I'm about to go meet up with Fatima Kanso, who spent 3 months in Turkey last year working at a private higher education institution that was comprised mostly of refugee students.
Like the people who opened up the branch were political asylum seekers from Egypt, and so they opened up the branch for just like refugee speakers, being like they all spoke Arabic, all the like staff spoke Arabic.
Okay.
So the students were taught in Arabic as well. They weren't taught in Turkish.
Okay.
And so the majority of my students came from like the Arab diaspora as well as like the Uyghur Muslim population that was also seeking refuge there. I would say it's like a 50-50 split. They did intermediate English and then advanced. So like how the advanced class talked about like how to write your thesis, like grammar, versus the intermediate focused more on beginning and just like conversational English.
Okay.
Making simple sentences, just because there weren't a lot of resources, so you had people who were in the intermediate class that belonged in, you know, the advanced class, or belonged in like a lower tier class, but they didn't have enough resources to just like have all of that. So oftentimes like the teacher would work with like one section of the class, and like I would like try to conversate with another section of the class. Oftentimes people just opted to not take English, so our class sizes were like pretty small, and at the same time, like in all honesty, sometimes the students didn't show up. Like the class roster, sorry, I cannot speak. The class roster was like say 25 people. Sometimes 7 people would show up, and not to say that like they didn't want to show up. Like a lot of them worked in order to just like provide for their families, provide for themselves, and so like coming to a 9:30 class in the morning is not their number one priority.
After meeting with Fatima, I felt that I had a good grasp on what higher education looks like for refugees in Turkey. This entire experience was super educational for me, and one day I hope to learn a little bit more about the education system in Turkey as a whole.